Hey, what's going on, guys? Absolutely beast here. Today we're going to be talking about my reaction and my response to the Xbox One X, which was just announced on Sunday. It's still Monday for me, but this will be going up on Tuesday, so it's basically 2 days ago now. In the background here is gameplay of Nuketown on Black Ops 3. It's a double XP weekend, and I haven't played this game since at least Christmas. And before that, I hadn't played it since, like months before that. So just wanted to play it. So let's just dive right into it because I got a lot to cover here. So let's start with the name, Xbox One X. Name's grown on me. I do like the name. I'm totally good with it. I just feel like it sounds kind of like S. 1X, 1S. That's why the military uses codes. If you're talking over radio chatter or whatever, and you don't exactly have a clear signal, or part of it gets cut off, C sounds exactly like B, sounds exactly like D, or E, or P, or V. So, that's why they'd use codes. But other than that, I think it's a great name. And plus it's paying homage to the original Xbox, which was their mantra back then, the power of X, when they created that first system. So that system was pretty revolutionary. So there's some traits of that in the One X, I feel like. But more, really, I feel like the biggest comparison between the One X would be like the Xbox 360. Xbox 360 was something that I kind of had built some hype for over a couple of months back in 2005 when it launched, but I wasn't planning on buying it, and I didn't want to get it, really. I just happened to be at the store at Walmart through an incredible series of events with all the money I had to my name in my pocket, which was several months worth of savings because I just started working, I had my first job. And I was like, dude, I'm buying those. They were unloading them from the cart into the box. And at that time, I knew no one that had one. I hadn't even heard of anyone that had one. Like, I didn't even know a friend of a friend or like a family member of a friend that had one. Like, that's how rare they were back then. And I bought it. I didn't realize the significance even until months later, when in like January, February, on like Valentine's Day or even spring break, it still didn't know anyone else that had one. And all my friends wanted to come over and play them. So that thing was legendary. The amount of power it had and the amount of graphical ability that it had was unparalleled at that time. And for that kind of price, it was insane. No PC could come close to that for that price, anywhere near that price. And so I feel like that's where the One X is coming in. A lot of people don't understand. A lot of PC Master Race people, which I'm doing some heavy research into PC the last couple months. And I basically have had my eyes open to it, and I realize how great it is. But it's just really expensive, and it's a lot more overhead to get into. And I'm not sure I'd like the peripherals. I'm more of a controller guy. I know you can use a controller, but it kind of defeats the purpose of having it. So I'm sticking on the console, at least for the foreseeable future. But just the amount of performance you got out of that thing was absolutely insane. And so, people were saying you can't get full 4K out of 6 teraflops of gaming performance, which, from their perspective, you can't. If you have a card that can do 6 teraflops, you're not going to be able to run 4K. And a lot of PCs can't run 4K. But what they didn't understand was Microsoft designed this thing from the ground up specifically to run the games and the game platforms now. So it's not just like it's not just like taking a graphics card that has 6 teraflops and just running that. It's nothing like that. It's highly optimized, highly custom tuned, and specially made specifically for this purpose. And like I said, a lot of PCs right now can't run 4K 60 frames per second. It's not playable, or you have to turn the settings down significantly. So that's just what they're doing. And the other thing was, PC Master Race people were saying this is going to be like an $800 console, and it's like, dude, no, that's not going to ever sell. And part of the great thing about the console manufacturers is they're, Sony and Microsoft, they can sell the consoles for a loss, and they do. In fact, I read a story years ago about how the Xbox 360 didn't make any money off the consoles until like 2 years after their launch. They didn't make any money off the console itself. None. Which is crazy to me. So, that's where I feel like the bloodline comes in of the Xbox 360 for this Xbox One X. I feel like this is going to be revolutionary. It's going to be really powerful. We're not going to realize the full potential of it for a couple years. And I feel like this is, this is the right console Microsoft needed to make, because they didn't drop the ball with the Xbox One, but there was some initial downside of like having an always-on internet connection that got some bad press at the beginning of the console before it even came out, and it was just all Sony from there on out. It's just all Sony. And then once people had Sony, then anyone who was in the market to buy one was like, well, all my friends have PlayStation, why would I buy Xbox? It's just a snowball effect. So I'm not saying they dropped the ball, but this console is the right way to do it. They're producing the best possible product they can for the cheapest possible price. and they're going to give it out to everybody, and they're going to throw it out there. And that's something that I saw in a Linus Tech Tips video recently regarding Intel's new stuff that Intel's doing, where they sort of like just threw something together last minute. So they're just making the best possible product they can for the cheapest amount of money and putting it out there, and that's what I'm super excited for. So I was watching the stream in 4K. I had some issues initially with wondering whether it was actually in 4K or not, and then I realized I was in 4K, and I got to see all the games and the whole briefing in 4K. So just to touch on some of the games real quick, Forza Motorsport 7 looks incredible. I cannot wait. That's the only game I've been waiting for. And I had someone say to me, like, you know, what the only game I'm going to be able to play in real 4K is Forza 7, and I thought, that's the only game I'm going to be playing anyway. You know, obviously my channel's built on that. If you guys are here, you know that. That was cool. That game, Anthem, looked pretty cool, which is from BioWare. Never really played one of their games, but it looked pretty cool. The graphics looked cool, and it looked like kind of a cool, like, exploring type adventure type game. But for me, far and away, the best looking one, and the one that I'm actually most excited for, other than Forza, was Metro. Metro Exodus. I've heard of Metro. They had like a Metro Redux on sale recently. But guys, I don't know if any of you got to see it in 4K, but that game looked breathtaking. It has been years. It's been at least 2 or 3 years since I remember feeling that way about a game. And the last time it was Dying Light, and it got delayed and all this stuff. I remember seeing the graphics for that game just, the other day, and I thought, oh my goodness. It blew me away. Blew me away. So, those are my thoughts. I am so hyped. Extremely hyped. Can't even tell you how hyped. Words don't even describe. So, thank you guys for checking this out. Make sure you subscribe. Check out my other content. Check out my other videos. And check back soon for more content. Appreciate it, guys.